Or now we're able to use those metrics and analyze a little bit differently to just attack improvement.
I do have a question because we're talking about all this. We're talking about, talking about Sam. I just talked to Sam not too long ago because there was a kid interested in playing at Emory, and I had a phone conversation with him. But talking about Sam, talking about hitters, talking about just, guys that you've seen and had over the years. I've asked you this question before. I'm going to ask it a little bit differently this time. Best D3 player you've ever seen, but then best D3 pitcher you've ever seen, best D3 hitter you've ever seen, and best D3 base runner you've ever seen.
Ooh, that's a good one. Man, it's hard for me not to be biased when I answer these questions, because, of course I'm a longtime Piedmont guy, so certainly got some guys up there. When I think about best players, I think the guys that immediately come to mind, Joseph Odom in Huntington was a big leaguer. Tim Saunders at Marietta. I coached a game when I was at Ohio Northern against Matt DeSalvo for Marietta that I think the old strikeout record for a career was around 450, and I think he got over 600.
Oh my God.
We faced that dude in like a 30-degree day at Ohio Northern, and they got there. He didn't get off the bus till about 40 minutes before the game. I don't blame him. It was frigid. And in a 7-inning game back then, I think he had 17 or 18 strikeouts. And it was the most unfair. And that's not to knock the guys we had. I mean, we were in there grinding, but it was just, it was incredible to watch this kid pitch. Right. And, he made the big leagues too. I referenced Sam. He's in the top 10, top 15, all time in some NCAA marks in a 30-game winner, 350 strikeouts. Like those are benchmarks that you just don't get that. Those are huge, huge numbers at this level. But the best player I've ever seen. And this is certainly a biased answer, but it's Carter Ballstat for me. Carter played for us for 5 years. The amount of things that he does well on a baseball field is really just it's uncanny. I mean, a Gold Glove defender, to win a national Gold Glove is one of the hardest awards to win.
Sure.
In NCAA baseball. I mean, they give 3 of them out in the outfield.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's 400 schools. That's 1,200 outfielders that play every day, right? Probably more when you factor in, guys, you're probably talking 13, 14, 1,500 outfielders to be one of 3 that win a national Gold Glove. And that Gold Glove trophy is sweet. We've got it in our trophy case because we bought a replica so he could have it at his house. We've been fortunate to have 2 Gold Glove winners at Piedmont. But Carter won a Gold Glove as a defender in center field. Elite arm strength for an outfielder. I do feel like outfield arm strength is one of the tools that's a little more on the overrated side.
Sure.
Unless you're into his level of arm, and now it can be a difference maker because it came with accuracy. But phenomenal base stealer. Really good savvy on the bases. Hit third, played center field. Had a 12 home run season. Most extra base hits we've ever had. Most home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage. And he was 91 to 95 on the mound and has our saves record too. And has, it's that 20-20 club, right? Like 20 homers, 20 saves. That's a weird.
That's an Ohtani stat.
It's weird, but it's like I said, he's like a unicorn.
Yeah.
He just did so many things that at a dominant level. 2-time All-American.
Two-time. Two-time All-American. That's a big deal, guys.
The funny thing about Carter too, that it's ancillary to his statistical data, but the most confident player I've ever coached.
Yeah.
Without question. Sam Carpenter was up there too.
Yeah.
But Carter's confidence in his own ability, and it never bordered into arrogance outwardly, but he would say phrases to me like, and he was just matter of fact, and I did not believe him, but he said one time, if I hit every single count was 3-1, I think I'd hit 700.
Yeah.
And I think he meant it. He just felt so confident when he got in these hitters' counts because you're just such a high likelihood of getting a fastball to hit, and he can arrive on time. Or when he met with me one time about his goals, and he went through some goals, and then he got to the pitching side, and he said to me, I want to average 2 strikeouts per inning for this season, to which my initial reaction was, that's not a good goal, because that's not really realistic. Number two, I don't want you pitching in a way to try to get too many strikeouts, right? We need to execute pitches, right? These kind of things. And I didn't say anything, and I just kind of left it there. And that season, he had 10, he led the country in saves. He threw, I think, 25 innings and had 49 strikeouts. So he about did it. And I was glad I didn't say anything, and we've had a laugh about that since. But he's certainly up there as just the best baseball player I've ever seen, because of the amount of things that he does on the field.
Yeah.
Not just a pitcher, not just a position player, not just an elite closer, a power hitter, a base stealer, and you know it because, we had his older brother too. And Brady was also a phenomenal baseball player too, in his own right, and also an All-American. So for Carter to come in after, his brother was a senior when Carter got to our place, and his brother was a returning All-American. And that probably cast a big shadow on most kids, but not for Carter. He was his own man from the day we got him. He was his own player. Came in and worked, put some weight on in a good way, got stronger. Only had 4 at-bats as a freshman. Was a high leverage pitcher for us as a freshman, but only had 3 or 4 at-bats, and didn't have a great offensive year his sophomore year when he had earned the center field job in the COVID year, and then just made a choice that he was going to be a different offensive player. And his last 3 years offensively was just, such a high level player. But I've coached and seen so many great players, even the ones that come to mind more recently, like, McKinley Irves and Joe Ruth at LaGrange.
Yeah.
One of our conference members. Those guys are just such high level baseball players.
Right.
Eventually they'll, one of them's gone. Now eventually